And so God is able to make all grace abound towards you, all favor, that you having all sufficiency in all things. Everybody say all sufficiency in all things. You know what sufficiency means? Sufficiency means you have every single thing covered. There's nothing lacking. Listen very carefully. The people in this room who will reread this text with the revelation of God will hear this, that the place that you are getting ready to occupy will be a place of all sufficiency. Let me say it again. Let me say it again, and this will give you a chance to tap into the Spirit and lift your hands up and receive it. The people in this room are getting ready to occupy a space in your life, on your journey, in your existence, in your being, in your personhood, where you will always have every single thing covered for the rest of your life. There'll always be enough. There'll always be enough in your account, in your ability, in your strength, in your capacity, so that you always have every base covered. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me. It's right here. It's right here. I need you to read it for yourself, but I don't just need you to read it with the eyes of your humanity. I need you to read it with the eyes of your spirituality, that God is putting you in a place where you will occupy, you will exist, you will live, you will operate from a place where you always have every single thing covered in every area of your life. We're going to occupy from that place, occupy from that place, and we're going to occupy from that place according to this faithful truth. Then he says at the end, so that you may abound in every good work. So why is he giving us all this sufficiency, Eli? He's giving us all this sufficiency so that we can always abound in every good work. There's a message here that you got to get. You can't miss this. God says, I'm not giving it to you just so you can have it and you can talk about it. He says, I'm giving it to you because I need you to keep doing stuff with it to cause the work of God to be accomplished. Right? This is the same message that Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 9. It's the same message he writes in Titus chapter 3. He says in Titus chapter 3, around verse number 14, he says, Titus, teach our people to do good works. Teach them to respond to cases of urgent need so that they're always fruitful. In other words, what he's saying to them is that every time you get, you have an opportunity to give, so that every time you give, you get more. So it's not just you getting. Everybody understand that? If you understand that, would you lift your hand up? It's not just you getting. God ain't blessing you just to bless you. He's blessing you because your money has a mission. You better write it down. God's blessing me because my money has a mission. When God sends increase in your life, that increase has a mission. I need Gathering of Champions to hear this, because God has situated you in a place that he is going to cause increase to come into your life in ways and means you've never imagined. But God is saying, I'm not just blessing you to bless you. I'm blessing you because I put you at the place where you can take this money and the money will have a mission. Right? Why did God bless you incredibly over the last 3 years? Ask me and I'll tell you. He blessed you incredibly over the last 3 years because he put you in a place that has an incredible mission. This church has an incredible assignment. To build this building is not just a casual assignment. It's not do if you want to or do if you don't, or don't if you don't want to. No, this is a mission. I put you here. I gave you increase. Dump it into the project so that I can give you more. And the more you give to the project, the more I'm going to give to you. And I'm going to make sure that once the project is up and completed and paid for, I'm going to still give you some more. First, I'm going to give you reward. Then I'm going to give you some money for some more stuff to do. Seem like I just can't catch a break, Bishop. Seem like I just can't catch a break financially. Well, what have you done when you had? You want to know? Here it is. You want to know? You want to know? This is strong medicine for tough times. You want to know what's the current status? Where's the beginning of your current status? Here it is. It came because you had and you did nothing with it. God doesn't keep giving you if you don't know what to do with what he's giving you. Are you listening to me? Recently, I wrote a letter to someone. I wrote a letter to an official, and I read on the internet what his response was going to be. And you don't ever give up. So I said, I'm going to write him anyway. I wrote him. He sent me back a letter that looked like all he did was went to the internet and copied and pasted. And I said, you know, he could have at least been authentic. He had at least wrote some pleasantries, asked me how the weather was in Atlanta. He just copied and pasted it. You want to know why situations persist? God says if you don't read it, you can pray all you want. I'm just going to copy and paste it back to you and tell you, if you don't give, you can't get. Listen, champions. And when I give it to you, you got to invest it in something that's going to cause me to give back to you. It's in the end of that verse. It's in the end of that verse. You'll have all sufficiency in all things at all times, that you may abound in every good work. The Greek there is kalos ergon. Kalos ergon, good works, good practices, faithful practices, right? So if you're not careful, what happens is you get it, you throw a little at the work of God, and then you head to the mall. And now you don't have to head to the mall, you just head to the internet. Right? Here it is. Here it is again. And I got to say this to our church. God has assigned us an assignment. God has given us a duty, a job. And until we get the building up, he is giving us increase so that he might see what we will do with it. Real faith in God starts with a test of that faith. Okay, so look at verse 9. He has distributed freely. He has given to the poor. His righteousness endures forever. Verse 10. You have verse 10? Now listen to this. Boy, this is more from verse 8. You have verse 10? Ready, read. Seed to the sower. What does he give to the sower? What does he give to the eater? No, he gives the eater nothing. He doesn't give anything nothing. Right? Look, read it again. You'll see it. He gives to the sower. He gives seed to the sower. The sower ends up getting bread. What happens to the person that just eats? You don't get nothing. You don't give them nothing. Seed goes to a sower is a person who takes seed, tills the ground, put the seed in the ground, right? That means he is laboring. So the reward for his labor is that he gets more what? Seed. Seed. The result of seed is what? Bread. Y'all still with me? You get seed, you plant seed, you grow a crop, you get more seed. You get enough seed after you get a harvest, you plant more seed, you take your harvest, you turn it into bread. Yeah, right. What do eaters get? Nada. Because eaters are only going to do what? Eat. This is a true story. True story. Have you ever invited people who came over, glad at the invitation, but did not part their lips to request or inquire anything they could give or bring or share? Do you ever hate that? And we have gotten so nouveau with this, Gino, so now the sisters bring huge bags. They're not fashionable. They're for leftovers. We don't do styrofoam no more. We do plasticware. We take that plastic, neatly put it in the purse, get there, and load up on the stuff. Y'all gonna eat the rest of that? They have 3 days of lunches and dinners in one big bag as they make their exit. And they have brought nothing. Right? Anybody have, okay, this is just like a little sidebar. Anybody got nothing friends? They don't ever give nothing. They don't ever bring nothing. They don't ever have nothing. They ain't gonna ever do nothing. And they the first ones, and you feel so sorry for them. You be like, come on over. Right? So, now when people ask you what you're doing, it's just not pleasantries and conversation. It's actually an interrogation of what you're doing so they can find out what they're about to get. Come on, that's true, right? Hey, what you doing? I'm cooking. Be right there. Not I'm cooking a lot. I'm just and they already know you burn. They already know you can cook, so they just gonna swing by. You need somebody to taste that. I know you don't eat pork, but you need somebody to taste that. I'll taste that. Sowers get seed. Eaters get nothing. And I want us to make that distinction because there's some people who will never invest and they cannot expect to ever reap. Okay. Right? So those who sow, he'll give you seed to the sower, bread for food, and then he will supply and your seed for sowing and three things I taught this church about 12 years ago. Supply, multiply, increase. Just write those three words down. God will supply. God will multiply. God will cause. He will supply. That means he'll give you. He'll take what you invest and he will multiply it. God will multiply. That's that whole Jesus and Peter's conversation when Jesus responds to Peter and he gives him that hundredfold, right? That multiply is the hundredfold. The hundredfold that happens in your life when you're faithful to the work of God, faithful to the investment into God's kingdom, taking your life and your labor and investing it into the kingdom, right? That's the hundredfold, right? And then he will cause increase. And what increase does, increase is exponential. It is more than what you could get when God multiplies you. Right? So the people in this room who will hear this truth and live by it are getting ready to experience not just God supplying, but also God multiplying and God giving increase. I want you to see 3 seasons of your life. Say that, 3 seasons of my life. Write it down on your handout. 3 seasons of my life. Season number 1, he is going to supply. 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 Season 1, heaven has already written down, for Ruth prophet, this is called supply. For Tynesy Lynch, this is called supply. For Erica McCray, this is called supply. For Elma Palmer, this is called supply. This is a season where every time they reach to get something, there's going to be something to get. Every time you reach to go and satisfy a need, there's going to be something to get. This is called supply. But then there's another season. God just set the clock for you. Woo, you missed your place to holler. God just set the clock for you. And when God set the clock, he set the clock for multiply. So it's not just going to be enough, it is going to be more than enough. Hallelujah. 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 So it's not just going to be enough, Dana, it's going to be more than enough. The season of us struggling ended at midnight. The season of us coming into abundance started at 12:01 this morning. So now God's going to multiply everything you sow, everything you invest. God's going to multiply. Let me say the gathering of champions. Dare not get discouraged. Every chance we get to give, we ought to give. If we ask for a special offering, we ought to invest. We ought to sow. We ought to put in because we are entering a season of multiplication. God is going to give us not just the hundredfold. God's going to give us the exponential, more than we could have imagined the rest of our lives.